this ends up being a little bit of a doozy of a problem, because we run into that point where we kind of feel like we don't have enough information. And remember, if you run into that point, your kind of method to test out is to see if you can get anything from drawing the horizontals. So that won't make sense until I actually draw this. So let's kind of start it. So you can read the problem. But what we have going on is we have tower A and we have tower B, and they both spot a fire. Okay, you might not know that yet, but it ends up being between them. Pretend like that's a fire. Ooh, that's really bad. Whatever. So the information we're given is that from tower A to look at the fire, so here's my north, you look 33 degrees east of north. So it's going to be something like this, where this is 33 degrees. That's kind of bad. And then from B, you're going 63 degrees west of north. So we have this, where this is 63. And then it asks us, it also gives us these lengths. So this is 72, and the other one was 45. Okay. It asks us to find the length between A and B, and also the bearing from A to B. So that's kind of an interesting question we'll get to in a little bit. So let's find the length of AB first. So the issue with this triangle is you don't have any interior angles. And kind of when I was solving it, my first instinct was to make this 67 or 57, right? But that's not true because A to B is not horizontal. Right? The horizontal is down here. Okay, so speaking of horizontal, when you don't have enough information in a problem like this, like it does end up being like one of those wire problems where if you start drawing in the horizontals, you end up getting some transversals and you do get a little bit more information. So I would try starting to draw horizontals in. So I have the one from A. Do I have a color left? I'm going to do them in gray. Okay, so I have my horizontal from A is one parallel line, and then I'm going to draw the horizontal from B. Okay, so we have parallel lines, and we have a couple transversals. I'm going to call this F for fire. But one that I can get information about in this case is that I can figure out that this angle is actually what is 57. Right, because this is the 90-degree angle. Okay, so if this is 57, that means this is 57. Okay, because those are corresponding angles. And then over on the other side, we can figure out that this is 27. Duh. Okay. So you have a little triangle happening here, and we have enough information to actually figure out what this angle is. Okay, so I'll show you that in a sec. Let me get rid of that scribble. Okay, so I'm going to figure out angle F by doing 180 minus 57 minus 27. And I end up getting that it is 96 degrees up there. I don't know why it's faded. Okay, so I've kind of scribbled all over this, so I would probably redraw it just for clarity. But you did finally get an interior angle, and you might be able to kind of see that you actually have SAS. So at this point, you could do law of cosines. So this is one where it's like, it's absolutely not obvious what you should do. It's just kind of using those problem-solving tools that, like, if you're completely stuck on something, try drawing in the horizontals and see what information you can get from that. But here we have A, F for fire, and B. And now the information we have is this is 96. And you do have to kind of remember, like, this angle is not 27, right? Because B is slanted down. The 27 was to the horizontal, but AB is not horizontal, so I don't have that information. All I have is this 96, and then I have this is 72, and this is 45, and I am looking for the length of AB. So to do that, I'm going to do law of cosines. And then I just type that in my calculator, and I get that the distance from A to B is 88.81 kilometers. Okay, so that's part of my answer. The length of AB is 88.81 kilometers. And then the other thing it asks us for is the bearing from A to B. So again, not obvious. This is a really hard question. But bearing is from north. So I'm going to kind of put this back in. And we do know that this is 33. So the bearing is going to be north blank east. And we need to figure out what that blank is. It's going to be 33 plus whatever that angle is. So you can find that angle by doing law of sines. So we can do sine, why is that doing that? Sine of alpha over 72 is equal to sine of 96 over that number we just found. Cross multiply, and we get sine of alpha is equal to 72 sine 96 over that distance from A to B. And then when you type that ratio in your calculator, you get the ratio 0.8063. And then to get alpha, your final step is to do sine inverse of this. And then that actually spits out that alpha is 53.73 degrees. Okay, but again, you're still not done, because that gives me this 53.73. So you have to add 33 to that. And that finally gives you your bearing, which is north, and then we're going 86.73 degrees east. We're finally done with this monster problem that looked simple when we started.